All right, what's up, everybody? This is Gabriel, the Pro Activator, and you are tuning into the Pro Activators podcast. This is the place where we crush procrastination, kill bad habits, and build state of the art leaders. And today we have Mr. Mario, and he's going to be joining us. How you doing, Mario?
Wow, that's where the crowd shut out. Well, I'm super happy. Thank you for having me, Gabe. It's a pleasure, an amazing opportunity to share some valuable content. I'm so happy to be here and know everything you're doing in Pro Activator project. It's very interesting, so I'm happy and excited.
Mario, why don't you share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background so that the people can get to know you a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So I could say like right now, I'm a dad. I'm very fresh dad. My daughter is 4 months. I'm a drummer by profession. I studied music since I'm pretty little, 8 years old. I started to play the drums, and I studied that as a career. Let's say that after that, I found out how hard it is because a lot of that industry, it's multiple touring. So I started committing to a different career, which I studied business management at my 21. And along the way, I have transitioned for multiple different jobs of starting from an office to get to a point I am where I'm working by myself. I'm an insurance agent, and I'm working with my father-in-law in our brokerage. So along the way, I have became, let's say that, inner healing mentor for young people. So I love the topics of psychology, everything related with inner healing. And I could say that at where the place we are, I'm an intern pastor. So I'm preparing to become a pastor. And with me and my wife, we have a ministry for along 4 years. And my father-in-law, which is my the partner I work with, he's a pastor too. So I've been like in business / ministry / music. That's who I am.
Okay. Well, Mario, I want to tell you the reasons why I invited you to the Pro Activators podcast. So this podcast is about people that have achieved high levels of success in certain areas of their lives. So I saw your life, and I saw that you are a devoted Christ follower.
Yeah.
And that is one of the areas of our lives, that you are a fervent fitness aficionado.
100%. Hero.
Yeah, you are a husband and a father. So those are the three of the things that I saw in you that allow me to ask you to come to the Pro Activators podcast. Now, you are a young Pro Activator. For the most part, we like to see a long track record of those areas. But for the most part, I believe that you have a lot to share with us. So why don't we first start with your personal relationship with Christ? Can you tell me when this happened and why?
That's beautiful, man. Thank you for asking that question. So for other people, I'm 30. So I was born in 1994. It's funny enough because I always say I try to glory by glory to be at the stature of Jesus Christ to a point that I try to be similar to him physically. And it's funny because a lot of people, they say that I look like Jesus of the Chosen. But it's been not a long time since I became a Christian. I started the path of self inner healing at 21, and it wasn't a choice. It was basically mandatory. I was going back to my 20s. I was rocking. I was playing drums. I was touring in Colombia with some bands underground. Rock is more underground over there. So I started touring. And of course, I mean, to do life with music, you have to play a lot, do a long night plays and gigs. And then, of course, a lot of rock and drugs and sex. So it was a very, very dark season of my life where I was trying to be a rock star. I was trying to be the ideal rock star, which is everything combined, like talent, a lot of drugs, like to survive all this environment, because you need a lot of that. And also like trying to get the admiration of women and people around me. And I got to a point that I got rehab. So I got to the third rehab when I was in my 20s. And it was because I was already, the second one was willingly. The first one was mandatory. Second was willingly, because I felt I was losing my mind. And I told my family that I needed help. I had a syndrome called despersonalization syndrome. So basically you start splitting your personality from yourself, and you start asking questions that, what would Mario do in this moment? And you start feeling insecure because you don't know who you are. So you start breaking that personality, and then I became very vulnerable for a time, no drugs. And then when I came back and I fall back in drugs, it was like the fall of my life. I even bought an amount of drugs to sell, but like 1/3 of that I consumed it myself. And I even stole things from my family. I got some police coming over to my house. I hit some security guard, and I got arrested. And that day was the last day I remember that I did drugs, because I got arrested, and my mom came to the place where I was arrested, and they said, we have two options. We either send him to La UPJ, UPJ in Bogotá, Colombia, where all the youth go before going to jail, or you find a way to put him in the right place, because I already have a restriction around the property. And funny enough, I hit the security guard, which he had a son in the rehab, the third one, which I went mandatorily, and it was a Christian rehab. His son was also like in bad things, so that was the only one that actually was pretty cheap, was in the south of Bogota, and they actually would pick you up, which is kind of like a kidnap. So they would kidnap you and put you there without your will. So basically they kidnapped me. I was fighting. My dad is a lawyer. I called my dad in the police station. Hey dad, like they kidnapping me, like manipulation, all this, like trying to get my way. God had his own plans. I went there. I was an agnostic. I believed in a lot of Buddhism and a lot of like self-enlightenment. I knew the Bhagavad Gita. I knew a lot of the meditation, and I did like a Vipassana, which is 10 days of meditation, no speaking. I was vegan. I was going that route, like trying to be like spiritual, but I never like related with the Bible and Christianity. And I had the first month, my family left me there alone by myself, and I was with a bunch of drug addicts, don't understanding what was going on. But let me tell you, my conversion happened in the first month, because I had the craziest of conversations with a lot of homeless drug addicts. They do a lot of crack cocaine there, but there were some people that were Christian, devoted Christians, that they didn't have family. They were orphans. There was one specifically that in the argument, he was pretty smart. We were fighting against like self-alignment against Christian life, and he was saying like Christ this, Christ that, revelation, Christ died for us. And I was saying like, you believe all of that, but look at you, like you don't even have been able to get out of your addiction. So at least I'm calm right now. Like I was telling him, at least I'm calm. I have certain type of, let's say, competence and intelligence that I'm able to at least express better than you. I told him that. And the guy, had the humility to let me win that argument. And after that, I remember that I found out that my problem was pride. I was too pride, to the point that my conversion happened in one song. Every Friday, since we didn't have like a lot of help, it was just like pure Bible. It was a pretty inexpensive rehab center. It was Bible in the morning, Bible in the afternoon, and just like doing a bunch of homework because we had like professors that were free, public professors. And Friday, since we were so like, what do we do on Friday? Like, it's when you get the cravings. Friday night, worship. You just put like a bunch of worship songs. And there was one worship song that changed my life forever, bro. This is a very deep, special moment because I even remember the floor that I was with in that moment. Basically, the song is by Christine DiClario. It's saying that there's no highest place to be in his feet. And when that moment start, like when that song start playing, everybody started going down and crying in the floor. But I felt like everybody was just trying to show off to the pastor and the pastor wasn't there, but I felt like everybody was trying to get out as soon as possible, showing off that they're Christians. But there was no leader there and everybody in the floor. And I just stand up in the wall like this, like, oh, this is a bunch of clowns here, like crying in the floor, but they were crying. And I start listening to the lyrics of the song, and the song is saying there's no highest place to be in the ground. So there's some type of voice that tells me, so there's no worse place to be standing up. And I was the only one standing up in that room, and I get a conviction. All the things that were happening that month got me to the point of seeing that I was there in that rehab because of my pride. That moment I felt like something crushed me, and I put myself in the floor and start crying like from here, like from the guts. I was alone. Nobody was there, no pastor, no intercessor. And I felt Jesus.
Wow.
I felt Jesus that day. I felt like a warm. It's crazy. I always speak about and tell this story with so much like emotion because that's when I actually got converted. Nobody saw it. I was alone in a rehab.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how I got converted to
Wow,
Christ.
bro, that's pretty powerful,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, that's pretty deep, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the Lord just finds you,
Yeah.
and He did a work in your life. Let me ask you something. After that conversion, when you started opening yourself to the things of Christ, how easy or how difficult was it for you to start walking in His path?
Yeah.
Because you were already carrying a lot of baggage. Your body was already used to sinful natures that you were. So talk to me about the walk.
Interesting. Wow. This is a good question because after that, I had a piercing here in my nose, and I refused myself to cut my hair in the rehab because one of the things they actually asked for you to become a leader was to be like needy, like like in like very, how you say, sleek, like clean, well shaved, and I was refusing to that for the first month after I converted. I decided to cut my hair like completely. Remember, I came from kind of like Buddhism, so Siddhartha Gautama, the first thing he did after he got out of the kingdom of his dad, he cuts his hair. So I did that as an action of surrendering. So I cut my hair like zero. I remember I was bald, and I removed my piercing as a symbol of surrendering. And after that, I have pictures. I can send it to you. The picture that I have is that from one day to another, I looked like a kid, like a fresh, young kid from an adult that I was already rotting. Like I could see like my evilness to a little kid. And I felt like that's the pattern I've been having on all my seasons on my Christianity. Like I've seen how I have to surrender whatever gives me certain type of identity. So it's all about like my safety protections. In that case, it was my hair and my piercing because that was my identity back in that time. And I have felt like the same attitude that I had on that day after, I've been using the same feeling of repentance to surrender whatever He wants because it feels like you're naked. So I can say that along the way from my 21 to my 30, I'm 30, I've been every 3 years, God asked me more, like more, like a bigger chunk of myself. And I kind of have to do that, like in a spiritual way, shave my head and remove my, whatever my identity I think it is. And I've seen that that's how I've survived, let's say, the refining of my person, because it is very hard. I mean, you think you are this until God asks you to remove that. And that's when it hurts, because you think you have that, but forget it. That's how I feel. Like you're dying constantly, you're burning things, but you let God to bring another thing out of you. And that's, for example, fatherhood. Now that I'm in the fatherhood phase, 3 months ago, so she was born in February, we're in June. I would say in January, a month before, I was so afraid of what's coming. The baby's about to be born. And one of the things that I've noticed in that 3-4 months is that, and from what my wife have told me, that I've been doing a great job, it was one thing that I put in my head. It's like, I'm no longer for myself. I'm for them. Whatever, I try to find their needs. So I'm no longer in myself. So it's not about me anymore. And I felt like that's where God kind of like refined me even more, because it's not even about myself anymore. And that was hard, honestly. That for me was like, oh, so I'm not important. Yeah, it's not that you're not important. You have to take care of that before. And that's kind of like being back to a pro activator, is you have to be proactive. Before even people wake up, you should already have everything ready to be for them. Because if not, you're trying to solve 2 problems at the same time. And it's really hard, honestly. It's not easy. I'm trying.
So let me ask you something. So you put yourself through a pruning season every 3 years or so.
Yeah, every 3 years.
And you do a self-evaluation of where you're at and ask the Lord to remove more of you and add more of him.
Yeah, correct. Every year I do that.
Every year.
Every year, at the end of the year, I have a vision board. So I basically, I go month by month. This is something I did 2 years ago, and it's magical. I don't know how else to put it, because it's crazy. I tried to divide my vision board in 12 little boxes, and I pray for every single month, and I ask for words and images of what is going to come that month that I need to be ready to surrender or to put into my life. And it never fails. Like a word that I put my vision board in my wall, like in my roof,
ceiling?
in the ceiling of my bed. The first thing I see is the vision board. And I always kind of go back to that. It's like, let me see in what month I am. And I'm in the month of resilience. And I have to be resilient. And I see around, if I'm not resilient, I'm not going to survive this. And I try to kind of like have an intimate talk with God about that. I do that on December 31st. So that's kind of a tradition in my family. We do that before the year ends, asking for every month for words and for images. And we put like, we're very creative in my family. So we put images, pictures, but it's incredible how God kind of like tell you the story. If you're connected to Christ, he will tell you beforehand what's coming, because he wants you to be prepared. Like he is not that, oh no, the future only belongs to me. No, if you connect to his heart, he will tell you what's coming so you can be prepared. And that's one of the Pro Activators, I would say, like a foundation is to be prepared. Like something is coming, so you better get ready, right?
Yeah. Nice. Mario, let's go ahead and jump into the desire that you have to take care of your fitness and your health. Where does it come from, and what makes you keep that going?
Oof. This is being a long run, because honestly, going back to rehab, for me, rehab it was like the military for me, because that was warfare, spiritual warfare. Fitness started as a therapy. I remember back in the rehab, I still had desires of certain things. I would say dopamine overall. And I started doing push-ups and pull-ups. That was my go-to. Pull-ups, push-ups, pull-up, push-ups. That's it, because I felt like it was so hard to do 10, 15, then 20. 20 was impossible. And after that, I think like throughout the development of my character and my life, let's say, it became more like a fashion thing. Like I was going for the gyms because I felt like it's luxury. I mean, I was going with my sneakers at the beginning, then I went back to a place in my life that it was getting harder, and that's when I got back to the basics, which it's where I am right now. I'm gonna still like that, and it's, for me, fitness. It's how I tame my mind. It is a therapy. It's still the number one therapy that I have to humbling myself, because there's no other pain that is more direct than working out. I feel like it kind of like humbles my soul. So I really love this. Like it is more than the fitness. It is what happened in that realm in my spirituality. I feel like it gets me back to the right mentality, that I'm never in a final product stage. Like it's always something that you need to develop. And on the other hand, I feel like you need to complement with the right diet and in the right rest, because it's not only working out. It's like after that, you're going to be so sore. And if you don't eat well, then you don't recover, and then you cannot perform again the next day. That for me is like, that's everything I need. I need to be humbled every day with the fitness that I do. So I've been from regular gym workouts, to CrossFit. I had a very intense season of CrossFit. I competed. I really like, that was intense. I mean, CrossFit, we did this morning. Like that's the biggest. If that could be a church, that would be the Baptist one, because it's very bold and straight to the point. And then I started doing calisthenics, developing more my gymnastics. That's where I was. I kind of am still there, but I want to get back to CrossFit. I think I need it. As a dad, I think I need more pain. So I don't know. Probably you're going to see me going back this week.
All right.
Yeah.
But Mario, let me ask you something. What makes you what makes you give up the comfort to put yourself through that kind of pain? Like why do you put yourself through that pain instead of choosing comfort?
Wow. Well, comfort, let's start with comfort. I think comfort is a double-edged sword. It's a word that we need to really define it first. Because what's really comfort? Comfort is to be in a place of safety where you can rest. But you cannot attain, as a man, I would say as a man, you cannot attain comfort if you are not dangerous before. That would be like my reflection. I've been reflecting many times. I've seen a lot of men being very passive, having a comfortable life. They have their huge house, their finances good, but if you see them, they seem like a pretty relaxed dad, like a dad bod. And I mean, when you leave your house and you go to a supermarket with your family, you never know. Things could happen. I mean, someone could suddenly steal the supermarket and have a gun. And I feel those are the times that you really need to understand that the comfort gets you in a point of weakness too, in a vulnerability. And I don't want to be in a place where my comfort actually makes me weaker. So I choose, honestly, to be in the comfort of, before getting there, I want to do the right thing before getting to the comfort. I kind of think that starts when your mind decides to do the work to then get the cupcake, kind of. So that cupcake, you can decide to get it before, and the work, you decide how you do it. But I feel like fitness actually puts you in the right mentality, that the reward, which is comfort, being happy with yourself, loving the life you want to have, it comes after working out, paying the price of the comfort. And that's why I think we need to define comfort, because comfort is a double-edged sword word. It could kill you. Comfort can kill you. So and since I'm a ex-drug addict, I know exactly what comfort is for my mind. Like there's a word in Spanish that is let me think. It's when you te dopas, when you
Pain.
when you take something to not feel pain.
Okay.
So I feel like comfort could work as I forgot the word, but I would remember it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, man, that's pretty powerful. So you learn how to put yourself through pain, in able to become pretty much. You want to be a warrior.
Yes.
You want to be a warrior. You know,
Yeah.
you want to be there for your family. If
100%.
sometimes if stuff hits the fan,
Yeah.
you
I
want to
wanna
be
ready.
you want to be ready.
I want to be ready. I want to be dangerous.
Yeah.
I think being dangerous is the word, because going back to Christ, I feel like we misrepresent Jesus sometimes. We think he was just like a hippie, loving guy around. But if you read very closely to his stories, he was a bold person. He was like very bold. He had leadership with example. Actually, the ones that were writing about him were his followers. It wasn't him. He was not doing a podcast. He wasn't trying to write, oh, so today I woke up. No, people were already having him in a high standard because of his action and his discipline. So the guy was like, he never felt like, it's like he working out before even everybody woke up. And that's like mind blowing for my walk. Like, I'm trying to be Christ follower, and the person I'm following, it's super disciplined, loving, which is how we see it. But on the back end, the guy's bold. Like, he's gonna turn tables. He's gonna confront people of authority. Doesn't care about anything. He's completely secure and confident of who he is. The word that I was thinking is anesthesia. Like, te anestesias el dolor. You kind of put anesthesia on pain. That's for me the wrong comfort. So people don't look out for the right pain for the right comfort. I feel like they look for anesthesia to get the wrong comfort that I'm telling you that is a double sword word. So Jesus was a bold personality, and if we look into between lines, he was a person that he wasn't as passive with incongruency. Is that an incoherency? People of double motivation. So if you're saying that you are this, you should be this, not trying to. So if you're saying that you're pro-activator and then you're not doing what you're supposed to do, Jesus is going to confront you in your face. So I feel like that's the thing. We're losing that. We're losing young people because you can have a picture of you working out, but in reality, you're slacking. Yeah. You're doing 8 instead of 10 reps. But who's going to see that? Nobody. You just care about Instagram. So those are the things that the word of mouth and your actions are not the same. So that's what I think that's where the problem is.
Okay. That's pretty good, man. Very good insights on the fitness. And I love your view of fitness and health. You know, for the most part, people say, oh, yeah, because, when I get older, I want to be. I mean, those are things that are going to happen regardless because you already. But I'm talking about like the different types of people, the what they say. Yeah. So for the most part, people say, when I get older, I want to be able to be strong for my kids, and I want to be there. So I want to do everything possible that I can to have that health. Yeah. Yeah. And in your case, no, man, I want to be a warrior just in case something happens, bro. I want to be there. Yeah. So hey, people get motivated for different things. Yeah. So I love that, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Mario, let me ask you something now. Let's talk about your marriage and your role as a father now that you have your family.
Oh man, beautiful.
Talk to me about about your marriage and now being a father.
Wow, this is crazy. This is so deep in my heart. I honestly, if you ask me, like if my wife would be here, I was the one struggling to be a dad. I was the one that waited until the last moment to be a dad because I was so scared. Well, to do a rewind, I was raised by a single mother. So I never had like a dad figure in my house. Actually, that was part of my reasons of I was doing all these drugs and trying to put identities in myself. I was trying to find my identity and how to survive in this hard world. And a way is to become tough and have tattoos and have piercings and I was avoiding the idea of being a dad because I knew how much weight relies on that role on a person, little person. I was just trying to heal myself and to walk as fast as possible to one day feel I'm ready, which never happened. Never happens. It would never happen. It actually got in a place in my life where I was without a work, without job. And I felt my wife, she was moved by the desire of being a mother. Going back to the shave, I shaved my head and I said, let's go. And I didn't have a job. 2 days after, I received a call and I had a great job opportunity. And that's when God told me, I provide you. And since that day on, it's only been provision after provision after provision after provision. And I've seen that's why it's so important to start the processes in the right heart, in the right spirit, because it could be probably the most impactful message for your life if you do it in the, let's say, in the humble way, because we don't have things figured out. Honestly, to be a dad, it has been like a discovering process. But after that, I've seen, and in Spanish, we say that every baby comes with a bread under the arm. And that's how it feels. I felt like it was just a common thing. Everybody said it. But you know what? What changes is the attitude of the guy, of the male, of the father. We become providers. And every window, little hole becomes an opportunity to go and I'm here. I have a kid that is about to come. What we have to do, and people see that in you and open the doors, and you can say, "Oh, I have a baby coming," and people get moved out of that because they see themselves when they were starting. So I have felt so many doors open, so many people helping me, supporting me, mentoring me, and that's when actually my call to become a pastor activated. I was afraid to be a pastor too. I've seen a lot of ministry wounds on people, even in my wife. Ministry is very tough. It's very broken. So especially from fatherly figures. And that's where I was like, I need to do this right. But the right way is to be humble, to not feel you're ready, just to present yourself. And that's what I've been doing as a father. I mean, I'm there. I don't feel I'm completely like 100%, but you know what? Being present. It's my mantra. Be present, be here, because I didn't have a dad, bro. And that's where I feel like it gets personal. Like it's just about being present. I didn't have someone there just looking at me, whatever, doing homeworks. And just the presence of that person changed the whole thing. And that's what I feel about my daughter and my wife, is just being present, not with the phone, just there and messing up. Hey, what are you doing? Like, just try to be yourself. And in your presence regulates the emotion. I feel from my wife and from my daughter. Every time I'm in the room, I feel how everything regulates. And it's nothing. I don't have to do anything. So that's what I'm trying to be present and organizing my life around that. Doesn't matter what happens. I want to be present.
Wow. That's pretty deep, brother. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
I can tell that it's tough, but now, Mario, in this podcast, we talk about the victories. We talk about the things that you've had a pretty good track record on. But we also talk about the tough things, the other areas that you are still not quite a pro activator in. And let me ask you something. What are the areas that you are struggling in and that you would like to be a pro activator in?
Yeah, well, since I feel like it started late. We always feel that, but I started late building my, let's say, my networking. So it's not that I'm late, but I found my career path very recently. I'm always been a people person, but I haven't seen the fruits of it. And since I'm still building my network and all the things that I'm working with in my industry, so I don't feel I haven't achieved financial freedom, honestly, and I'm far beyond that. So, but I want to at least create a foundation in my job and in my career. I'm an insurance agent now. I help people with financial advising, retirement, health, life insurance, everything related in the industry of financial advising. And I came from sales. I was selling products and I became an advisor very recently. So that's where I am right now. I'm becoming this. I started last year, and this year we opened at the brokerage. So we're still there. We're still there. I don't feel I'm in the place where I want to be, and I still not earning what I'm supposed to be earning, but I'm paying the price. I'm paying the price. I think it would come eventually. That's going back to, I believe that God gave me this opportunity to start my own business, and I'm hoping to get there very soon, because every day I'm hustling. I came from the office. I have a department with 4 people under me that they're working. We still figured out the leads, all these things. So it's like a discovery process where I mean, I'm not alone. I would summarize this with a quote. If you want to get fast to a place, go alone. But if you want to get far, go with people. And the reason going with people is far, because it starts slow, like as on the contrary, going alone. But you're gonna have more resources long time. But you have to build a team. You have to multiply yourself. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm multiplying myself, but you have to invest so much. Some people, they probably not stay. That's what I'm doing in my little department. We're 5, and but it's like little Davids killing giants. Like that's what we're doing. We're killing giants. We have an enormous amount of leads. We have like 100,000. We're calling every day, being rejected. That's where the real growth is. Being rejected, not knowing how to express yourself sometime. And that's where I am. I'm learning my lingo, my confidence. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to do a podcast while doing this journey, because I feel like you need to be exposed. You shape yourself by being exposed and talking about things. If you want to be good at something, teach it. That's our guy, Jim Ron. So that's where I am right now. And
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Okay, so you're focusing. So you want to build that your finances so that you can be a pro activator there. And let me tell you something. This is not going to be the first podcast we're going to do. For the most part. A year or two, I would like to sit with all of the people that I've interviewed, and I want to see if what level they are on their walk with being a pro activator.
Nice. I like it.
So yes, in a couple of years we can sit down again and we can revisit, what other levels of pro activator you have achieved. Yeah,
I would love to see that.
Now, another part of the pro activator is focus, which is time management. How are you doing in this area?
Yeah, there's one thing that I feel my personality has. I'm a pretty, I'm a movement person. I have to be moving a lot. That's why I got involved in sales. I'm a people person, but my weakness is to putting order and structure. So a lot of water is leaking on the little holes, and that's where I feel I'm struggling the most, which is putting order to my day by day, which I already saw your technique, your budgeting of time, which is crazy. I feel like that's wow. I would love to be there because I'm a movement person. So I think I haven't stopped to organize my time, and I don't feel I'm there yet. I'm always trying to have a productive mentality. So even like my eating habits are all about around the productivity. I don't eat like kind of like you, but I do my intermittent fasting the whole morning so I can accomplish the most before I go to lunch. That's my go-to mentality. I go work out at 6 or 7, and from that moment to 12:30, which I break my fast, I have to achieve at least three important big things. Like that's always my mind, but sometimes it changes, and that's where I think the water leaks because you get in one, and you could stay the whole morning in that one and without changing what you're doing, and you lose your morning. I mean, I need help. That's where I have to be humble because I'm a movement person, so I can move in the wrong way, and it's not efficient. And that's where the wisdom comes. I feel like what you have achieved is pretty wise, like to organize, to have an accountability system. I feel that's gonna be the nowadays problem because we're such in a movement era of humanity, putting posts, stories, things for free, and you lose so much time. Even like watching a little video, boop, you get hooked. That's it. You lose like 20 minutes, 15. And where you were doing, you forgot. So you lose efficiency, productivity, you're lost. And to get back on that track, I think it's like a momentum thing. Like as soon as you get in momentum, that's when you get in track. But to get the momentum, I think that's what's hard.
Well, I think I'm going to help you out here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. And I think it's going to be easy for you to recognize because you already know it's a problem. But I think, Mario, what you need to do is just like you've done before, that you prune yourself for Christ. He's asking you, hey, that time is not your time. That's my time. So you got to get it straight. And with that knowledge, it's like, oh man, this is not my time. This is Christ's time. You know, your wife, she's your responsibility. Your child, she's your responsibility. Okay? Your finances are your responsibility. Time is also your responsibility. And you can't get back time. Those 10, 20, 30 minutes you lost, they're gone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Forever.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So yeah, it's just a reflection, Mario, that I believe that I'm sure that with the conviction that you have for Christ and with the pruning process that you put yourself through every once in a while, that knowing that this problem is there, I'm sure that you're going to address it.
Oh yeah.
Just like you've addressed other problems.
Yes, yes.
And once you address that problem, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
It's a done deal, bro.
Yeah.
Once you, just like working out, just like doing all those things that you sacrifice something for, you end up knowing it's like, man, how come I didn't do this before?
Yes, I agree with
How come I've lost so much time. But it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
When your time comes, your time comes.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's the right mentality to the time that we have is a gift from Christ, and we're stewards or managers. I studied business management, and everything in life is a resource. And we as a manager, we do like crazy productive pieces of art. We just create garbage, and we're the channel to create the blessing or to create the curse. And I think time is the canvas. I like 100% agreed. And the question is, what would Christ want me to do this time? So he probably, I would say, as a wise person, let's say, to plan it out before it even starts, going back to my vision board. And I feel like that's what I need to do. I need to plan out as I plan my year, I had to plan out my day and my week and my month, which is a lot of planning.
Well, I think the best way to start, Mario, is just to plan your day.
Yeah.
Plan the next hour.
Yeah.
Plan your morning. Plan your afternoon. You know,
Yeah.
when we go to CrossFit, it's already planned.
Yeah.
We get there and we have a schedule on what we're going to do,
Yeah.
how we're going to do it, how much we're going to do. And we start and we execute.
Yeah. Correct.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not like you're going to work and in CrossFit, they have it done for you.
Yeah.
You get to the class. No, but it's the same thing, which you have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to sit down.
Yeah.
And you have to write down what you're going to do between 9 and 10, between 10 and 11,
Yeah.
and so on and so on, and do your whole day. And then execute
Yeah.
in those areas. Is it going to be perfect? It's not going to be perfect. But at least you have a guide.
Yeah.
And since you already planned it out, you're going to respect it.
Correct.
And when you deviate from it, you remember and you come back.
Yeah.
And it's going to be easy for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you already have it. You've done it in other areas.
Yeah.
When you're doing a workout for CrossFit, do you take, today you wanted to take some videos.
Yeah.
But you didn't really have the time, right?
Yeah. I didn't have
You didn't have the time because you were there working.
Yeah. I was doing what I needed to do with the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I saw you had the phone and, you know, and you said, okay, you know,
Yeah.
but once you start, man, you're focused.
done.
You're there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when you do this.
Yeah. Good
Because
point.
yeah, it's the same thing. Since you already do it, it's gonna come easy for you
Yeah.
to implement it.
Correct.
It's just a matter of going through the motions, of writing it, being intentional about your day, having either printing it
Yeah.
or having it in your computer
Yeah.
to make sure what's next.
Correct.
What time is it? Okay, let's go here. And I think that's gonna help you
Yeah,
in that
100%.
area.
I think it doesn't sound so bad when you explain it, but you're already doing it, and it makes sense. It's just writing down what I'm already doing and making sure I follow it, because I'm already doing it in a way. I have to
You do
work,
it
I
in
have to
other areas.
produce. Probably I'm going to become more efficient. I'm going to know where the gaps of unproductivity or inefficiency are, and now I'm going to fix those. It makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm cutting my hair back again to get bald, but it's just the same spirit that I told you. I feel like going back to Christianity or Christ follower, it's all about dying to something so you get something back. So you're saying just give out your time, that thing is yours, and let Christ take over. And I think it's when you become humble and let God, okay, God, what do you want me to be doing right now? And he tells you exactly, because that's how I felt it. All the time that I ask God to tell me something, he shows me step by step. And it's crazy how real that can be. I think it's the Holy Spirit that reveals to you, but you have to be humble. That's the number. And I'm humble right now. I feel like I really need to learn this. I'm 30, have to put the structure. I have put a structure in my fitness, have structure in my spiritual walk, but I need more structure in my process of bringing this department, which is a whole department. So I have people on there. Sometimes I have to do some things that are not related so I can keep track on other things around the department, and I lose track. Those are the things that I have to put name to it, and I haven't been able. So I will. I would take this as an accountability system so I can do it later, and I could tell this guy, I'm doing it right now. Look at this. This is working.
Nice, bro. All right, let's I want you to speak to the people out there. Somebody who is probably, maybe they're doing good financially.
Yeah.
But maybe their relationship with their wives is not all there.
Yeah.
So, as a young but wise new husband, how long you been married?
4 years.
Okay, that's pretty good. 4 years. What would you say to somebody who's struggling in their marriage, who can't say that they're happy?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Wow, that's a great question. First of all, your wife is a reflection of your management. Let's start with that. Let's start with the foundation. If it's not working with that wife, it's not a wife problem. It's a you problem. It's a mirror. That's your first disciple. That's your first follower. Actually, that's the most realistic follower that you're gonna have, because she would see everything that you preach and you practice, and she would try to see how that match, and that's when a lot of the struggle comes. I feel we have like a very special person on our side that loves us, but also it's an accountability system. The problem, I would say, it relies on the lack in men, talking about men and men to men, recognizing our flaws. That's where I've seen a lot of the issues, even when this is deep, because sometimes you have to recognize flaws that are not even happening just because you're guarding the heart of your wife. You being right is not as important as protecting the heart of your wife. So because if you are right, you crush her. And I feel that a lot. A lot of men want to be right, so they kind of like use their authority. But that crushes the heart of the women. And they're not understand that if this is also for Christians, we're supposed to follow Christ. Let's just start with Christ gave his life for his wife, which is the church. So we have to really take care of the heart. And sometimes it's feelings, and sometimes it's things that doesn't have any logic. And I've seen how men crush the spirit of women. And then they pretend to have a happy wife, and it's like there's not a happy wife. And they think it's provision problem. So they give things. But it's not provision. My wife has told me many times how more valuable it's my listening skills than my provision. Like even giving things to her is not as important of giving my attention to her, because she feels that I care. And when I get triggered, I learned this is a technique. When I get triggered about what she's saying, I say in my head, just let it talk, let it express. It's more important to let her express than me trying to be right over what she's saying. And I continue, and I let that. And after she finishes, you kind of see her face, and she's relaxed because she already disclosed. I think like they want to disclose, and then if you just say this, baby, I understand. Thank you for disclosing this to me. You're not saying that she's right. You're not saying that you're right. You're just validating her emotions. And I think that's a game changer for relationships. I've seen it a lot. Men unable, 100% unable to do this. This is like marriage 101, and they failed. So that would be my number one advice for men that. And there's a actually interesting book called Love and Respect. Pretty basic book about how men feel loved by being respected, and how our love language is respect. And we know that they love us, but we feel when we feel respected is when we feel love. And in the country, a woman feel respected when they feel love and taken care of. So it's like two different languages. We like speak two, it's like French and Creole, Spanish and English, and how we get together trying to understand the language of the other person. So basically, the book talks about the crazy cycle, which is when we don't understand each other. So we start blaming, and she blames you, and you blame her, and it's a crazy cycle. It goes down. One of us have to be the bigger brother and break the cycle, and that's when you actually listen and validate the other, and that's how you break that. Like how that's the antidote to the it's a spiral down until you get to the so you want to get divorced. That's where, oh my gosh, you never have to get to that point, because that's when you start throwing some stones into who's holy, who's more, who's this. I've been providing 2 years, and what have you been doing? That's you don't want to play that game, and that's the worst one.
Okay, nice, very good, Mario. Now, for that person that is, maybe they don't know it, but they're lost in Christ, and they feel like they have a lot of ducks in the road, in a row, and they feel like they're doing good in certain areas, but they feel empty. What do you think? What would you say to them if you had them here?
Wow. Empty and having it all, right? That's what you're saying. Physically or evidently they have it all. Well, that's a good question, because I'm all about quotes. I love the quotes. It kind of like suppress wisdom. Jim Carrey was asked one time, like, what would you say to all these people? I want to be millionaire as you. And the guy said, he's crazy. I want everybody to be as millionaire more than me. I want you guys to acquire all the mansions, the cars, the trips, the models, everything. He said everything he has done, so you can understand that none of that would fulfill you. Like, he really said that. Honestly, he was kind of even crying to a point, because I understood a while ago that being content and satisfied and fulfilled, it's intangible. It's very intangible. I wish we could have a thermometer or a glasses to see how fulfilled the person, and you would get surprised. It's interesting. There's a book that the monk that sold his Ferrari. It's a millionaire that sold everything he had to become a monk. And he had the resources to do a study on his brain, because he actually went to a psychiatric clinic to get his mind to get checked up. He was depressed, and he was a millionaire. And the person that was treating him, he said, no, you need to do philanthropic work. And he started like giving things. And now he found out that was a thing, like giving things. He gave out everything. And then he went back. And he was in that clinic, he was the happiest. They never found a highest serotonin levels, which is the chemical for contentment. Dopamine is happy. Serotonin is more like a pleasant feeling of fulfillment. He was the most fulfilled person ever recorded in that machine.
Wow.
So I feel that I would say, and this goes along with that story, it's all about being useful. I would say, like, someone that is struggling to feel fulfillment, go and help. Go to your closest church and serve someone, and try to be served for free. Give some type of wisdom to someone that is close to you. And you would feel that already in itself fulfills you. And that's where the payment for the heart is, and the untangible, not in the tangible, untangible.
Nice, very good, Mario. This is the last question. What do you say to somebody who is struggling in their fitness area? Somebody who is overweight, somebody who caters to their comforts, right? Which is something that you have been able to defeat, and you don't cater to that type of comfort anymore. You actually put your body through pain, and you seek for that, and you've been doing so for years now.
Yeah.
So, but what do you say to somebody who's not mentally there yet to get them over the hump?
Interesting, because I've been creating these spaces on Saturday where I invite people along my social media, all the different circles, and I've seen how we have right now, I would say in my generation, we don't have anymore these gatherings of just go together to do something difficult. I would say that that's one thing that your brain, someone that is not used to work out, your brain is longing to do something difficult in a more like groupal setting. Why? Because I feel like for now, for people that are starting, if you think about it, CrossFit, it's all about your community. Like you go and you see people around and you get motivated. Um, I've seen how community helps you to get faster and easier to a goal because everybody's going at a pace. So I would say try to gather with people around you. And I have, if you're in Miami, I invite you every Saturday. I do it twice a month. It's every Saturday, every other Saturday. And we go to a park and we run and we do pull-ups, push-ups, and squats. And you do as much as you can. Doesn't matter. Everybody does what they can. We have a time, we have a system, but it's so beautiful how people, their face changes when they see people training around them and nobody's taking note of how you're doing the thing. It's just we're suffering together as a whole body. And I felt that helped people to start back again on fitness. I feel like that's just like a hook for yourself to, oh, I have people around me that are checking up at least in a month. They're gonna ask me, hey, what happened with you? You didn't come. And that is gonna give you the window to do a commitment with yourself and go to a gym. Because if not, trust me, I've seen a lot of people that have tried many times to go to a gym by themselves, and for some reason they can't because they don't have the habit. They don't have the habit. They don't have it yet. So if you build it up with a community, then you can remove the community and then do it alone. Now I wanted to go back to a community. I've been training alone for 2.5 years, and I've seen how hard it is because it is really hard. You go alone, you put music or you do whatever, but you don't go as hard as you would go with people around you. And I think that's a big one, accountability. Accountability, find someone and tell that person, hey, buddy, let's start training. At least let's go walk. Go easy on you. Let's go walk together. Tell your dad or your mom or your brother, let's go for a walk and let's do it twice a week. And then find a community, find a place where you can work out, go with that person and commit to that. Commit and start going. You're going to find friends, probably a wife too, because if you find a wife that likes fitness, it's interesting. Like, I think fitness also puts together. I met my wife and I fell in love with my wife. Actually, we're a COVID couple at 4 years ago, kind of like we got boyfriend and girlfriend. And we started working out together in COVID when nobody was around. And she became my best friend by working out together. We were just like in a park talking about this and that and let's work out. I was planning the workout and I saw her character, because one of the things that you're going to see when people work out is their character. That's very important, because people, you give 10 reps, there's people that do only 8. And they're always going to do 8 because that's their mindset. Their mindset is about cutting corners. And you're going to see that reflected on their lives. So, I mean, commit to a place where people are counting your reps. Hey, bro, you did 8. What happened? Oh, people are looking at me. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good. You know, it's funny because you said that about Enzo today.
Yeah.
And you said, oh, man, this one right here,
Yeah.
I don't know about
yeah. Yeah.
You know, the other one
Yeah.
looked like he was more engaged. This one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get you. Where can people find you?
Well, I'm gonna give my social media. Actually started my new account in Instagram. I had it before, so I'm gonna give you my Instagram. I have my personal one, professional one, and my family one. So I have
What's
one.
the handles? Can you say the handles?
The handles.
Yeah, what's the name?
What's the name? So it's Mario _ Mahecha. My last name is, you're going to have it, _ That's my personal one. Mahecha is my last name. So my family one is THE Mahechas. Mahechas. It's a Spanish last name. So it has an H before the E. Mahechas.
Okay.
That's the one.
Nice, brother. Well, Mario, thank you so much for joining the Pro Activators podcast.
Yeah.
I look forward in what God is going to do in your life.
Thank you.
And I look forward in having you in a couple of years to see where all the other areas are at. And for everybody, thank you so much for joining. And sign up to the newsletter. Click the link below or somewhere around this video to sign up for the newsletter. It's ProActivators Club /newsletter, so you can get plugged into the ProActivators ecosystem. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.